Mark Rogers TV and Last Word on Sports, talking quarterbacks across the country as we get you set for spring practice starting in Pullman on March 24th. We bring in Jack Follman from Pacific Takes to help us sort out Washington State's situation. And Jack, it's not a whole lot to sort out. I would say outside of Ohio State and Clemson, you look at UCLA and Washington State in the Pac-12, and despite having quarterbacks with just 1 year experience, they seem to be about as settled as it can possibly be.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a hard time finding a school who's more settled and more excited about their quarterback, starting quarterback, than Washington State this year, with Luke Falk coming back as a redshirt junior.
Luke Falk, 69%. I know you know the numbers. Almost 4,600 yards passing, 38 touchdowns, 8 picks. Because Mike Leach is running the show, and because the success that he's had at Texas Tech and elsewhere, throwing the football, it would be easy to slot him as a system quarterback. But we see a lot of systems quarterbacks go down, and then the backup comes in and is nearly as efficient and productive. That didn't happen against Washington. This was a completely different team without Luke Falk in that final game against UW, and they lost by 35 points.
Yeah, I mean, Luke Falk, are those numbers a little bit inflated because he plays in Mike Leach systems? Yes, but is he a guy who's a system quarterback? I don't think so. I think he's a guy who would be a really good starter just about anywhere in the Pac-12. Maybe the only guy he couldn't beat out is Josh Rosen, and that's debatable. Yeah, he's a pure good quarterback who can make all the throws, who really helped take the Cougars to the next level last year. He really excels, knows how to run that Leach offense, but he also can take it to places where the guys Leach was putting out before him at WSU couldn't do. And a big part of that is being a really poised and polished QB who knows which throws to make. He's not gonna, the guy before him, Connor Holiday was a bit of a gunslinger, and he put up a ton of yards, but he also really killed them with a lot of interceptions. And that's not what Luke Falk does. He lets the offense, do what it needs to do. And if they're not going to make a play on a play, he knows when to throw it away and not to throw the pick, so they don't, give up field position. So the next time they get the ball back, they're going to be able to score.
Peyton Bender is a senior. He had to fill in, as we mentioned, against Washington in the Apple Cup game, 36 of 58, 58% overall, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks. I think the difference there that just jumps out is a 36 for 58 that wasn't highly productive on the scoreboard. But on the bright side is that Bender sits for 12 games, and if you really need him, at least he's a guy with experience both in the program and in a big game last season.
Yeah, obviously he had a rough game in Seattle last year, but one thing to consider that's also going to be Luke Falk's biggest challenge next year is they didn't have their left tackle Joe Dahl in that game, who may have been the best pass protector in the country, who is probably going to go in the 4th or 5th round of the next draft. So give Bender a little break there. He was also on the road against, arguably one of, if not the nation's best defenses, especially at getting after the passer and causing interceptions. But yeah, for them, that's really nice to have a guy who played in about a tough a situation as possible last year, coming back, that if Luke Falk goes down, you can rely on that. I mean, God forbid you don't want Luke Falk getting hurt, but as we all know, in college football, a lot of times it's hard to make it through a season without having a backup quarterback have to come in for a game or a few series that you're going to need him to be ready for.
So at 9-4 and 6-3 in the Pac-12, of course, they were the darlings of the Pacific Northwest and surprising tons of folks, and beating a couple double-digit lines in Vegas and actually winning an upsetting game. So Luke Falk's back at it this season with an improved defense there at Washington State, and maybe they've got something good going there in Pullman. Jack Follman from Pacific Takes joining us to break down Washington State. Thanks a lot, Jack.
Thank you.